Let's start with the chapter lipids. Lipids, this word comes from Greek word lipos. Lipos means fats, and these lipids, these biomolecules are of great importance to the human body, as these are the chief concentrated storage form of energy, along with their other role, that is in formation of cellular structure and various biochemical functions. As such, lipids are a heterogeneous group of compounds, and therefore it is rather difficult to define them precisely, but still we can say lipids are naturally occurring organic molecules which are extracted from plants or animal cells. I can give you one example of lipids: oils and butter or ghee. Oil we get from plants and butter or ghee we get from animals. Both are lipids. So, lipids are naturally occurring organic molecules extracted from plants or animals which are relatively insoluble in water, but highly soluble in some organic solvents like alcohol, ether, etc. The structure of the lipid is mainly like this. See here, in this structure, lipids molecule, it has two parts. The lower part is called as tail part and the upper part is called as head part. So, this is head and this is tail. The tail part of lipid is usually made up of large hydrocarbon chain. This hydrocarbon chain, it may be saturated without double bonds or it may be unsaturated with one or two or more double bonds. This long hydrocarbon chain, this part is non-polar part and hence it is called as hydrophobic tails, while the head part of lipid molecule, it contains either one or two polar functional group like phosphate group, carboxylate group, and hence the head part of lipid molecule, it is a polar part and it is called as hydrophilic head. So, lipids, they have two parts, hydrophobic tail and hydrophilic head. Unlike carbohydrates or polysaccharides, proteins and nucleic acids, lipids are not polymer, but lipids are small molecules. They are not polymers. Before starting the further study of lipids, first we will see fatty acids, because lipids are potentially related to fatty acids and are utilized in the living cells. So, first we will see what do you mean by fatty acids. Fatty acids are actually carboxylic acids with long non-polar hydrocarbon side chain with maybe 15, 16 and above carbon atoms. They are the simplest form of lipids, and as all these acids, long hydrocarbon chain carboxylic acids, as they present in fats, these are called as fatty acids. Fatty acids are classified in three different forms. First is saturated fatty acid, second is unsaturated fatty acid, and the third one is polyunsaturated fatty acid. Now, example of fatty acid is a lauric acid. Here you can see in lauric acid, there is a long hydrocarbon chain of 11 carbon atom. All bonds are single bond and one carboxylic group is there. Second example is palmitic acid. Here palmitic acid is made up of total 16 carbon atom. Out of these, 15 carbon atoms are present in a long hydrocarbon chain which is attached to the COOH group. So saturated fatty acids, they contain long hydrocarbon chain in which all carbon bonds are single bond. So these are called as saturated fatty acids. Unsaturated fatty acid, the third example of saturated fatty acid is a stearic acid. It is a 18 carbon acid, total 18 carbon acid. Now unsaturated fatty acid, the first example of unsaturated fatty acid is palmitic oleic acid. In this palmitic oleic acid, there are total 16 carbon atoms. In this example, there is a long hydrocarbon chain, but it contained one double bond. So it becomes unsaturated fatty acid. Here, every time it is not possible to write down such type of long structures. So these fatty acids are represented like, here palmitic oleic acid is represented like 16,1,9. What 16 indicates here? Total number of carbon atoms. So there are total 16 carbon atoms. 1 indicate the number of double bonds. As in this structure only one double bond is there, so it is written as 1, and 9 indicate double bond is present at 9th carbon atom. Numbering of carbon atom is always done from COOH group. So this is first carbon atom, these are 7, so 8, and this is the 9th carbon. At 9th carbon atom, double bond is present. That's why palmitic oleic acid is represented as 16,1,9, 16 total number of carbon atom, 1 double bond which is present at 9th carbon atom. See another example, oleic acid. In this oleic acid again there is only one double bond, so it comes under unsaturated fatty acid. Here it is represented as 18,1,9. It indicates that in oleic acid there are total 18 carbon atoms, one double bond is present and that double bond is at 9th carbon atom. The third type of fatty acids, it is polyunsaturated fatty acids which are also written as PUFA. As per its name, polyunsaturated fatty acids, they contain more than one double bonds in their long hydrocarbon chain structure. See the example, linoleic acid. I have not written the complete structure, but it can be represented in this form. Now you can understand from this representation that in linoleic acid there are total how many carbon atoms? 18 carbon atoms. These two indicate there are two double bonds. One double bond is present at 9th carbon atom and another double bond it is present at 12th carbon atom. But please remember, numbering should be done from the carboxylic group. Second example of polyunsaturated fatty acid is linolenic acid. Linolenic acid, it is represented as 18, 3, 9, 12, 15. It means how many total carbon atoms are there in linolenic acid? There are 18 carbon atoms. There are 3 double bonds and these 3 double bonds are present at 9th carbon, 12th carbon and 15th carbon respectively. So this is the classification of fatty acid based on whether all bonds are single bonds or double bonds are present or not. Now here in this slide you can see the structures of some expanded structures of saturated, unsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acid. You can see the structure of stearic acid. It is a saturated fatty acid. Here stearic acid, it contains 18 carbon atoms and you can see this is the long hydrocarbon chain. All bonds are single bond and this long hydrocarbon chain is attached to COH group. So as all bonds are single bond, this fatty acid is called as saturated fatty acid. While oleic acid, in this oleic acid, there is one carbon double bond carbon which is present in a long hydrocarbon chain. So it is called as unsaturated or mono unsaturated fatty acid because it contained only one carbon atom. But if more than one double bonds are present in long hydrocarbon chain, then such fatty acids are called as polyunsaturated fatty acid. This is the structure of linoleic acid. Now, before starting the classification of lipids, especially classification of lipids, first try to understand what do you mean by triglycerides or what do you mean by triester of glycerol, or these are called as triglycerides. So, here when one molecule of glycerol, you can see glycerol, it is a 3 carbon compound, and to this 3 carbon 3 OH groups are attached. So, glycerols are trihydric alcohol. This is a single molecule which contain 3 OH group. To this alcohol, trihydric alcohol, if 3 fatty acids are attached. Fatty acids means when this R group, it is a long hydrocarbon chain, this may be saturated or this may be unsaturated. So, when one molecule of glycerol is combined with 3 molecules of fatty acids, there is a esterification process. Whenever alcohol plus acid, there is a formation of ester. So, here H and OH from acid, they condenses with each other, there is a removal of water molecule and one molecule of glycerol attaches to the 3 molecules of fatty acids and there is a formation of ester. This is a ester functional group, OCO. As there are 3 ester are formed, it is called as triester, and as it is formed from glycerol, these are called as triester of glycerol, or these are also called as triglycerides. These are the basic structures of the lipids, and hence it is very essential to understand what do you mean by triglycerides. Triglycerides are nothing but the esters of glycerol, in which one molecule of glycerol is attached with the 3 molecules of fatty acids. These fatty acids, they may be saturated, unsaturated or polyunsaturated, and there is a formation of ester compound which is called as triglyceride.